And I, a Holocaust survivor, born in Karlovy Vary, lived in Prague for 3 years before the Germans sent me to the concentration camp, and here we are.
Yes, 4 years into reunited, and here he is, a survivor. You know, it was incredibly difficult for Holocaust survivors to speak about their experiences. It was just too painful. Unfortunately, many died without ever really telling the full stories they went through. Others are still alive, and in recent years they have been an outpouring of opening up and educating younger people. It's like a race against time by the final generation alive of Holocaust survivors. One of them is my friend Gidon Lev, who has a massive following on TikTok with more than 1 million likes. Now, Gidon was in Terezin, which is Terezin in Czech, north of Prague. He was there for 4 years as a child, between 6 and 10. Terezin was a little bit different than other camps because, for propaganda purposes, the Nazis invited the Red Cross in, and before the Red Cross visit, they gave the children there drawings and pencils and pens to make pictures, and they allowed them to sing and so on as a propaganda for the Red Cross, so that the Red Cross would come, they would say, you know, these concentration camps aren't quite so bad as we thought. Of course, it was all a facade, because straight after they left, many of the thousands of children in Terezin were sent to Auschwitz and murdered upon arrival. Others died in Terezin. However, a small number managed to stay and survive there. One of them is Gidon. So recently, I went with Gidon to a museum called Beit Terezin, which means House of Terezin, north of Tel Aviv, that was set up by survivors at the end of World War II in Israel. And there they had found a picture that Gidon did when he was about 8 or 9 years old in the camp before that Red Cross visit, of a football pitch. So the first video I'm going to show you is Gidon being reunited almost 80 years later with this picture, quite remarkable.
17 April 1944. Can hardly believe that I did this.
It's not your style, Gidon? It's not your style?
The second short clip I'm going to show you is when I was with Gidon in Prague, where he lived as a child before being deported to Terezin. We are standing outside the statue of the great Czech Jewish writer Franz Kafka, next to the Spanish synagogue in the historic Jewish quarter of Prague, and Gidon wants to proclaim to the tourists and others gathered there who he is and that he's a survivor. Gidon Lev, he's wonderful, he is with us. These are two of the greatest Czech-born Jews, Kafka, Lev. Gidon, Bela
And I, a Holocaust survivor, born in Karlovy Vary, lived in Prague for 3 years before the Germans sent me to the concentration camp, and here we are.
Yes, 4 years into reunited, and here he is, a survivor.